everyone. How's everyone doing today? Great, awesome. First of all, thank you. First of all, I would like to say welcome to At America, the U.S. Embassy's American Center. My name is Genara Jusuf, or you can call me Ara, and I am one of the e-guides here in At America. And for those of you new here, and for those of you who don't already know, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States through our programs, events, and also our facilities. Now, I think that we can all agree that these days, women are more than capable to lead businesses and also organizations. So for those of you women and also men who want to bring more women counterparts into your organizations and perhaps also learn and improve your business skills, today's event will be perfect for you. And our event for today is titled Become Part of the Global Women in Management. Now, before we start this event, let us hear an opening remarks. And with much honor, I would like to call upon the stage the President of ExxonMobil Indonesia, Carol Gall.
Selamat sore. Selamat Lebaran, mohon maaf lahir dan batin. Selamat datang. Saya Ibu Carol Gall. Saya merasa terhormat ada di sini bersama perempuan-perempuan hebat. Let me switch to English. It's a little bit more comfortable for me. It's an honor to be here with all of you today on this very special Learning the Art of Leadership with our Global Women in Management Network. As a woman leading the ExxonMobil Indonesia organization, I'm incredibly passionate about empowering women and encouraging them to take on leadership roles. I truly believe that when women are given the tools and opportunities, everyone benefits. Research shows that when women have control over their incomes, they invest in the health, education, and well-being of their families. They also tend to reach out to propel other women forward, creating a powerful multiplier effect in society. This is why it is so important to support women's economic empowerment and leadership. Women's role in society has evolved over the years. Women have always been a major contributor to society and to the world's economy, yet it's only in recent times that we've seen women take on greater roles in social reforms, in politics, or in the corporate world. Today, women around the world continue to challenge the status quo, break down barriers, proving their abilities as leaders, innovators, and change makers. At ExxonMobil, we understand the importance of supporting women's economic empowerment and leadership. Working closely with strategic partners, we focus on developing women entrepreneurs, deploying technologies that accelerate economic empowerment, and advancing the field through research. Through these efforts, we're moving closer to a world where women are full participants in both the social and economic spheres of society. One of the major challenges that women entrepreneurs face is the lack of access to capital. According to the International Finance Corporation, women-owned businesses represent only 30% of registered businesses worldwide, only 30%, and receive only 10% of available credit. This is one of the reasons why ExxonMobil has launched its Women Economic Opportunity Initiative back in 2005. And as of now, the program has impacted tens of thousands of women in more than 90 countries, including Indonesia. Through our Women's Economic Opportunity Initiative, we've partnered with organizations around the world to support women entrepreneurs and help them access finance and training. We've also deployed technologies that help women overcome barriers to their economic advancement. These solutions have helped women access capital, grow their businesses, and create jobs in their communities. For millions of women around the world, access to training opportunities and skill developments help them fulfill their economic potential and drive social change. ExxonMobil supports several community-based organizations as part of its Women Economic Opportunity Initiative. Together with our partner, Counterpart International, we've initiated the Global Women in Management workshops, where women are given the opportunity to develop their leadership and management skills, build their networks, and learn from experienced professionals. The Global Women in Management workshops have been instrumental in empowering women to take on leadership roles and make a difference in their communities. The workshops provide women with practical skills that they can apply to their businesses, including strategic planning, financial management, team building, and so on. The workshops also help women build their confidence and develop their leadership styles, which in turn helps them become more effective leaders. Today, we have more than 50 Global Women in Management alumni. Some of them are here today. I'm really proud to say I've met some of them, and it's really an inspiration for me to meet those women. It's an inspiration because each and every one of them has made a significant impact in their communities already. Now, we must acknowledge that there's still work that needs to be done. Despite the progress that we've made, women continue to face barriers in all areas of life, including education, healthcare, and economic opportunities. In some part of the world, women are still underrepresented in leadership positions. In fact, in many parts of the world, women are still underrepresented in leadership positions. This is why these initiatives that we're discussing here today are very important. We're making progress towards a more equitable world. Let us work together to support women's economic empowerment and leadership. Let us advocate policies and practices that promote gender equality. And let us celebrate the achievements of the amazing women around us, both today and every day. Together, we can create a world where women are valued, respected, and empowered to achieve their full potential. So I encourage all of you, all of us, to take advantage of the opportunities available to us, to develop our skills, build our networks, and drive social change in our communities. I'm excited to hear inspiring stories from incredible women leaders that will be speaking today. And I want to encourage all of you to continue advocating for gender equality, both in your personal and professional lives, whether it's through mentorship, supporting women-owned businesses, or advocating for policy changes. We all have a role to play in creating a more equitable world for women. I also want to take a moment to recognize the incredible women who've paved the way for us. From the suffragettes who fought for women's right to vote, to the activists who continue to fight for gender equality today, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So let us honor their legacy by continuing to push for progress and change. Together, we can create a world where women are valued, respected, and empowered to achieve their full potential. Terima kasih.
Okay, Miss Carol, I would like to thank you in person and really appreciate the support of the ExxonMobil. And then I hope this will continue and then for the next generation to bring us to the next level and beyond. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Do you have any message for each of us, the alumni especially?
Well, thank you so much. I'm touched. I love flowers, and pink is a beautiful color. So for me that's very touching. I am inspired to be with you today. Many people tell me I have a tough job. I'm the head of an oil and gas company, a large oil and gas company in Indonesia. But I get so inspired meeting women who have forged their own path to be successful and to help the community around them. So you're a source of inspiration, and for that, I thank you very much. And we are committed to this program. Just seeing it real today, for me, brings it to life. And I'm looking forward to continuing to support this program. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Carol, for the wonderful opening remarks. Can we have another round of applause for Ibu Carol, everyone? Thank you. Now, before I introduce you to our wonderful speakers for today, we have a little warm-up for our event, which is our social media quiz. And the question goes like this. Is it true or false, bringing more women into the workplace creates opportunities to prioritize diversity and encourage male and female collaboration? Now you can submit your answer on our social media platforms, and for those of you who are able to answer the question correctly, will receive a live shout out from us. And now let me introduce you to our wonderful speakers for our first session of this event. First, we have one of the alumni of Counterpart International's Global Women in Management, Ibu Tilma Komaling, and also activist Ibu Farwiza Farhan. To Bu Tilma and Bu Farwiza, the stage is yours.
Okay, so thank you, Bukero, for your kind remarks. And I really like the last point that you made that we need to create a world that women is respected, valued, and also create a place where women can contribute and being empowered. So thank you for that. And I think um, I'll skip with the introduction, but just a bit about the program itself. My name is Tilma Komaling. I am one of the alumni, so I'm like one of the beneficiaries from the program, and I have been a trainer myself. I cannot tell you like enough about this program because GWIM is something that I don't know that I needed that time in 2014, but it has been carrying me forward along the way until like almost 1 decade now. But the fact that I have a good ally, a company that really focusing on what you do instead of who you are, is also good because you can basically contribute much to the society and also make sure that your life, your work, making impacts. And I have a distinguished friend here. Um, Maybe just a bit about yourself, and I think we can start with the chat.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Katilma, for having me here. It is such an honor and privilege to be back on this stage. My name is Farwiza Farhan. I usually go by Wiza. I work on this amazing landscape called the Loise ecosystem. It is the last place on Earth where the critically endangered Sumatran rhino, tiger, elephant, and orangutan still roam together in the wild. But my work is less on the actual preservation on the ground. My work, a lot of it revolve around policy and advocacy to strengthen the protection of this landscape, as well as empowering communities to take part and have meaningful participation in determining how this landscape will be managed into the future. And of course, big part of our work revolve around empowering women, allowing women to take ownership, take leadership within their community to be protecting forests. Just last week, I have just returned from New York with our women rangers to support them in receiving awards. And they leave me with such a touchy message when they said, we normally just climb up and down the mountains. We normally just went in and out of the forest. And suddenly we find ourselves in New York.
In concrete jungle of New York.
In concrete jungle of New York. But for me, that's probably the most rewarding aspect of my work is seeing how this woman bloom over the years.
That is true. That is true. Thank you. And let's just give a round of applause for what Visa has done. And I think also the fact that she is really, investing in women, not only on her work, but also on like her surroundings and also the network. So our session would be on power and empowerment. So I just want to make this is like a conversation, maybe just sharing from your side. What are the do you think that the power that you get, I think you have been recognized abroad, you have been internationally known, and also the fact that you also get the trust from the people that you are representing, that is what I call power. But from your own words, Visa, is it enough? Is that what you need?
Difficult question, always, Katilma. Well, the way I see it is each of us have power. It is whether we allow someone else to take it away from us
True.
or not. And this is something that become a personal experience and personal struggles for me. That for many years, I know what needs to be done,
Right.
I know how to do it. But so often I get told off. I get steered. I get driven by other actors. And it frustrates me knowing that my power is taken away from me. It takes a lot to reclaim your power. It takes a lot to fight back and resist. And sometimes you swing like a pendulum, right? As a woman, we are educated, we are taught to be polite, we are
That's
taught to
true.
be grateful, we are taught to be soft and gentle. And sometimes when we are firm, we get associated with being bossy. But then, as a consequences, when people try to take our power away from us and we realize that is happening and we fought back, we push back, there is all sorts of negative repercussions
Yeah.
that could
Yeah.
happen to you. But being persistent and trusting in yourself and trusting that you got to reclaim this power back, and that make it so important for me. I mean, I don't want to be criticizing my government too much. A little bit. But I come from a place where women get told for every details of her life. I got criticized for not wearing headscarf in the only province that implements Sharia law in Indonesia. And reclaiming the power back of my body and what I want to do with myself has been a long struggle, because I would fight for a woman to be able to wear headscarf if she wanted to. But I would also fight for them to be able to wear whatever they want and still be respected, if that's what they wish to achieve.
Interesting. So the question again, so you still need more power or is it reclaimed?
I think we need redistribution of power in a big way.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Well said. Well, I think it's interesting on how you mentioned about like reclaiming it back. Not really, but I think it's another phase, right? Once you know that you have a power in you, then you will be aware on what's going on, and then you will know whether it's taken off or not, right? So, but there's a lot of women out there, and also I think younger generation even felt or not even aware of the fact that they have power, which means maybe, I don't know, just again maybe a bit about the the whole situation, maybe structurally or systematically we are not really being given room to grow. Do you find it in your workplace, that kind of condition? Or is it something that you think need to be kind of, say, being advocate in a massive way? How do you kind of overcome if it's still going on, like for the within your work and also for people that you are around with?
Um, the thing is, if we go back to the reality that we face day to day, how often do you get dismissed for being a woman? How often do you get dismissed for being young woman? When I came into the world of conservation, I remember walked into my first ever government meeting. I was 23 years old. I graduated top of my class, master's degree in University of Queensland. I was arrogant. I thought I had the best idea. I know all the solutions, and I barged into the government meeting demanding change. And of course, all these bapak-bapak. All these bapak-bapak looked at me up and down, judged my headscarf, that's non-existent, judged my clothes, and practically dismissed me
Just
straight
by the
away.
visuals.
Just by the visual. It doesn't matter my education, it doesn't matter my qualification, nothing. that experience hit me so hard that I was not prepared to face that. And it hit me so hard, it made me determine that, okay, this has to change. If they could treat me like this, I find myself as someone who I consider privileged. They could treat me like this, how would they treat someone that does not have that level of privilege? Probably a lot worse. That make me determine that we make sure we open space for women, especially young girls, to rise up and be supported.
I agree.
And one thing that we don't talk about enough is the role of the enabler. Both the enabler for women to regain their power, reclaim their power, and restate their power, as well as the enabler of those that dim it down. So systematically, we need to think about how we react when other people are being dismissive to a woman.
I have that idea for so long in my head, to be honest. Because I was getting, like, in the GWIM program, we had been mentored, and also we got mentees as well. One of, I think, a couple of my mentees are here. Um, the first question that they asked to me, of all, like, the whole big broad idea of woman leadership, was, how do you face, discrimination? Would you react if you are being dismissed? And to be honest with you, I don't have the answers. Like, we gotta know the context. Of course, theoretically, we can find some answers, but we were never taught. Like, we were never being taught of how to deal with this kind of situation. So let alone of being empowered, let alone on being a leader, this really tiny detail matters to us women leaders. So just get back to the benefits of the GWIM, of these trainings. I get those, Ibu Carol, from the 1 month long training, even to the core of you accept yourself as a leader. I am a mother of two. That time I just gave birth to a 3 months old son, and I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know how to think clear and all that. And I remember the first day I stepped into the training room, one of my friends whom I didn't know, and then become sisters from Argentina, just pat me in the back and say, "You belong here." And that alone, just that very specific moment, I know that I am a leader. I earned this. So I think those kind of, the details need to be maybe, somehow being structured. I'm hoping that later we won't be called a woman leader, we just be called leaders, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But right now, that specific capacity need to be taught. So yeah, and so you've done, I think on the power part itself, you've done reclaiming back your power, and also you've been through a lot. What about empowerment? How do you find the word emancipation? What is empowerment in your own words to you? And how do you think, um, you know, the situation in our country right now, in the sense of empowerment, maybe in your sector, is in our sector is in environment now, and also in economic development.
I think on one hand, I hate the word empowerment.
Fair?
It felt like, we giving people, here's your power. Now you do have power. So dumb.
Right. What do you think best?
I mean, it's of course it's now a play on words and language, right?
Yeah.
But I would be interested to hear your experience, Ibu Carol, because I mean you led a huge huge company, huge organizations, and I'm sure the kind of experiences that we experience on the ground as women might be experienced 10 times fold at your position. But to wrap this up, the idea of empowerment in my case, in our case, is simply being that enabling force. When we come to a village and we came up with this idea that women need to participate in forest protection.
Yeah, agree.
First, feedback that we would receive after training this group of women is we put them in the place of total cognitive dissonance. They get confused on this huge gap between their reality and what they just learned. Their reality as mother, as wife, as sisters, and how society perceiving them, treating them, looking at them, and what they just learned through our training program. So initially, a whole lot of our learning as well is that we can't simply be training group of women and then expect them to shine. It's not quite the story. We need to change how society interact with this woman, how the husband, the brother, the father are treating these ladies in their life.
So it's not much more on the only woman being trained, but basically enabling like the whole kind of environment. Your comments, Ibu Carol.
Well, first of all, thank you for the conversations because I find them really, really good, and I'm learning a lot just listening to you. My experience is quite different because my culture is different. I'm French, and I spent 27 years in America, in the UK. And during the 27 years, I've been given a job. And the job had more and more responsibilities as time progressed. But because I had a job, I didn't let people bring me down because every time people try to do that, I would say, well, I've got a job to do. And that's my job. And I'm your boss, and that's my job. But the other thing that's very typical of my French culture is courage of conviction. So if somebody tells something and I disagree, I speak up. Now, you got to speak up the right way, and I'm learning that here, that, the way you speak up here is quite different compared to a French person, A French person, when we speak up, we make a fuss. We storm out, the tone of the voice is going up. Here, we can speak up, but just not the same. But I'm trying to encourage women around us to speak up a little bit more, because everybody has a voice. And when we're not speaking up, in a way we're diminished. We sort of give the impression that we don't matter. And I disagree with that. Everybody matters in the same way. But my experience is a bit different because I have a job to hang out to, and I say, look, it's my job. And so perhaps because I grew up in a culture where it's okay to speak up, I have no problem speaking up wherever I go. I lived in Africa for 3.5 years, in a country where perhaps women were not as prominent in senior roles as they are elsewhere. But I kept on saying, well, that's my job. I'm the president of that company here. And so if you don't want me here, there's nobody in the room. And I used gender as an advantage in a way, because I was different. And people didn't know how to deal with me. You come in a room and there's 20 men and 1 woman. Well, I can assure you the 20 men around you, they're very uncomfortable. And you can use that to your advantage. If you feel comfortable yourself, they're going to feel uncomfortable, but you're going to feel very comfortable. And so I try to think about what I'm here to do, what's my job, and that's what I focus on. And I certainly don't let anybody bring me down. That is not in my culture. And if somebody tells me something that I find diminishing or offensive, even if it's a minister, I will speak up. Now, I will find the right way to speak up. I'm not gonna, go crazy in front of 20 people. I know that's not the right way to give feedback. But I would encourage everybody to believe in themselves. Think about what they're here to do. So, what's your mission in life? What makes you happy? And let that drive you. Don't let other people drive you. And if people offend you, just ignore them or just go and tell them that what they've said is a bit offensive and move on. So that's sort of my philosophy, but my culture is quite different. And thank you so much for the conversation so far. I find them extremely enlightening. So thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can, we can say that maybe in terms of enabling, I just kind of steal the words from Visa, enabling. I find that your work and also your initiatives are the enablers. And if it's not because of that one single opportunity, maybe I won't have friends way back in Tanzania who face the same exact problem of gender, and I wouldn't have known that it was a global issue. There's a global issue in women, so basically, and underrepresentation. So thank you for being the enabler. I'm hoping then for people who's learning now and also watching can also have the same opportunity as we are. And okay, so we spoke about the power and empowerment. Now let's just learn from the setbacks. I know failures is not something that many people, it's not only women, like to talk about. But again, one lesson from the JWIM network, my mentor said, you are here, you have all the rights to fail. And it sounds really odd in my head in the first time, but then I take it as you got a coin of failures. You have the rights to use it. And it's okay to fail. No one succeeds just from one-time hit, like from one-time chances. So this is something quite, the idea of failure, or maybe I should say failing forward, Visa. I think you agree on speaking about this, and I really appreciate you on that. But please share us, what do you think about failures? How do you deal with failures? Having known that you are now reaching out into the level of, I think you're our global ambassador for women leaders in the world now.
Failure is a scary thing, yeah. Failure is very closely associated with embarrassment. And as a social creature, nothing is more painful than spectacularly failing publicly. And that fear of failure extends into then our desire to try and our desire to innovate because we scared in failing so much. But now I'm at a point of my life of being able to make peace with that. I used to be ashamed of so many failed paths. But then to celebrate the woman as well as the man, at that time, at one point in my life, I had a boyfriend. And he tells me, wear all that failures on your sleeve with pride. Own it. Because that's where you learn. That's what make you who you are. And I'm like, really? I didn't really believe him at that
Can
time.
you just wash it off, right?
Yeah, I know. But, you know, in speaking the truth, if you want to do the level of failure that I had, I almost dropped out from university twice because my grade was below pass. I was 1.6 on the first semester out of 4. And then I worked really hard on the second semester and still 1.9. So a second letter from the dean saying that unless you improve, that'll be it. That'll be it. And it freaks me out so much that I was so scared when I came home and my parents asked me for my, university scroll, the grades, and I'm like giving it to my dad and apologizing to him, saying like, Dad, I'm sorry, I failed. And he said, don't apologize to me. That's the outcome of your work. That if you put in the work,
Ah.
very harsh. But then that was not the only failure in my life. I continued to fail quite spectacularly. As I approached the end of my university year, I received an F 3 times for biostatistics. I was facing, the folks at the registrar office and about to sign up for yet another short semester on statistics. And they said, you, again? Statistic, again? But yeah, failure, I realize, is something that we need to embrace. Because
Yeah.
through failing something, it showed that we've tried.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we can give a big round of applause for that.
Can I just say something? Personally, I don't accept the word failure. It's not in my dictionary. I make decisions and I learn. And sometimes those decisions are the best decisions. Sometimes they may not be the best decisions, but as long as I learn and I grow stronger from those decisions, that's what matters. So, in fact, we had a little bit of the debate when we talked about the agenda for today because I saw the word failure and I said, well, I don't want the word failure on the agenda. But for me, it's a word personally that I banned from my own life. I do not accept that I've made any failure. I've had learnings, but those learnings have made me who I am today, a pretty happy person. And going forward, I may make some other decisions, and as long as I'm happy, I think it won't be a failure. It'll be a decision. So, no failure. That word doesn't exist in my world.
Thank you for sharing, Bu. I think from now on, let's call it learning forward, Bu. Learning. So, okay. Yeah, we have, oh, we are done for the talk shows, but if you still have any questions, maybe we can still have it in the second session. But just a quick, short statement for the younger generations out there, especially women, from your words, Wiza, on leadership.
It has to be on leadership.
Or many.
I think if there's one thing that I wish we all could do and we all could do better, is to be that enabler and to be that support system for one another. I know that each of us sometimes compete with each other to win,
Agree.
to be better, to be the first, to be the greatest. But none of us exist in silos. We all exist in an ecosystem, and sometimes we may not be born into the healthiest ecosystem. We could create a healthier ecosystem for each other. We could be that person that enable the other person to thrive.
Thank you. So we still have time for question and answers, apparently, and we have couples here from our social media. I'm taking one from Susie. The question from Twitter: What are some of the key skills and competencies that women in leadership positions need to develop, and how does the program support this development? I'll take it first from my side, and maybe Lisa can add for the key skills part. But I think it's a bit of everything, I would say. For you, being cognitively trained is not enough. Because as Ibu Carol was saying, you were born in also the ecosystem, you were born in different culture, and also your ecosystem is also constantly changing. So just by learning it cognitively is not enough. And so this program has been benefited me in many ways. One of it is that also they create a support system globally that will be at your, you can ask them questions, you can be friends with them, and also now it's like sisters, and they can support you on what you do. So I think it could be on the network itself, and I'm also glad that we have a beautiful network here in Indonesia of 54 ladies, and we are still in contact, although we're working in different sectors, but we are still supporting each other and not kind of pulling each other down, but instead we kind of lend our back for them to step on it and actually go higher. So that's from me. And skills and development. What is like a skill? Sorry, skills and competencies you think is needed for women in leadership?
Would believing in yourself be considered a skill? Because I think a lot of us somehow train to doubt and to hesitate and to second guess our own decision. But I learned to trust in that gut instinct and our own expertise and our own skills, and that lead to confidence. And of course, as Ibu Carol mentioned earlier, the ability to speak up in ways that is appropriate to the context. That lead to so many other abilities that will be needed. But to believe in yourself first, because if you don't believe in yourself, how would you ask others
Exactly.
to believe in you?
Thank you. And we'll take questions from the from here, maybe from the audience. Is there any questions for Wiza, for me, on women leadership or any? Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. My name is Zakia, and it's actually a question about like before we go into failure, there is must be try, right? And I believe the way I say it, like a lot of us even afraid of trying, because sometimes it's not because of we afraid of failure, but we afraid of what people think, what people perceive when we fail, or even when we succeed. So how do you, convince yourself, like, or maybe convince your guts that, okay, I should try it. Okay, so I don't want to say that you don't care about what the perception of others, but how you can manage those input, those perception of others, and kind of like stick to your guts, stick to and still believe in yourself and just do it, try it like that. So yeah, I think that's my question. Thank you.
Lisa? Okay, maybe for me, first, I also always believe that you were born alone and you will die alone. So others people's perception is just like something in between. So I know that you gotta, like, as what Wiza said, like, trust in your gut, but trusting itself, it's just the first phase of like the whole work. You gotta put work in. And then when you work and people don't really care, or people don't really like the outcome, it's your work. So basically, just take it in. You can hear them, but don't take it as a basis of your success in the future. But because might be those people who criticize you will only last for maybe on your trial period, not on your success period, maybe. So just pass through, just keep going. I know it sounds quite simple, but that's what I do.
I would advocate to practice. Practice, try. Um, Throughout our day, throughout our life, there's all sorts of try that we do. Try new food, try put on makeup that is unusual, try clothes we don't normally wear, try all sorts of things. And when we try, from time to time, that doesn't sit. We wouldn't consider it a success. But then remember and evaluate what happened each time we try. And if we succeed, try it again. And if we fail, try it differently. And keep trying so we exercise that trying muscle, so then we get used to what happened after. Instead of imagining what people would say, learn to listen to what you yourself wanted to say. Maybe you stand in the mirror and trying out a new very red lipstick and realize, I look hot today. But then people will be like, oh my God, that hot red lipstick, are you serious? But then if you feel this is right for me, then you begin to, get that inside you. This is what is right for me.
Hope that answers.
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Okay. One more probably from the side. Any questions? Yeah. I love the crowd. It's like a gender balanced crowd, no?
Thank you for having me. So it's quite interesting because I used to uh, work in a NGO for women when I gave a some sort of support system for a post-traumatic systematic sexual assault during the riots of '98. So the the theme of the women struggles before there was objectified, and then the second wave feminism said that, oh, this is, we have to have like a balance in gender wise, like on how we get equal payment. And then we come to post 2000 when we are fighting for the identity wise. So my question would be on how you, especially Wiza, see this, that women have their nose jobs and their they have this uh,
You mean nose jobs is plastic surgeries?
yes, surgeries and stuff like that, on how the society perceives them, and related to the previous lady said that on how women perceive the other to see them. It's more important for them for just to be able to control their bodies and think on how they are being perceived. I'd just like to get your brain on that.
I think it's up to the woman. If they want to get a nose job, they want to get a boob job, they want to get a liposuction. But we cannot deny the fact that a lot of us looked at the constant assault of perfection in the media, that when we looked at our own image in the mirror, we questioned, do I fit the picture of beauty? Do I fit the picture of whatever image that I would love to project out there? And this is not only happening to women, it happens to men too. If we go to the gym and look at all these men work out, not necessarily for strength, a lot of it for aesthetics, because of that image of perfection that we constantly push on one another. And being completely honest, I'm not immune to it. And many people are not immune to it. Even if we continue to advocate the case of women believing in themselves, believing in their skill, having confidence in who they are, it's really hard that when we scroll on our social media, we look at others in the most perfect curated moments. And we looked at ourselves in our entirety and imagine, why am I are not always in that always perfectly curated moments. And I think the struggle and the battle to strengthen the meaningful role that women could play in society cannot be completely detached on how media push for consumerism through the image of perfection. So that's my take on it.
Hope that answered the question. Okay, maybe if we still have one question from this side, while waiting, we can take one question from Instagram. I think this one is from Noah. So it's quite interesting. Noah is asking, how can women from diverse backgrounds and cultures collaborate and learn from each other? And what are some of the benefits of the collaboration?
You work with women through diverse background, Katilma.
So I think it's culture is a thing, but for we need to understand that we are human. Like human interactions are, it's nothing too difficult to understand. So having collaboration from different cultures can give you benefits of understanding different angle of maybe in environment field. It's like how things are done and how do you conserve, how do you advocate, and the fact that you have also like the background or the foundation of the culture and also the, how do you say, the traditions and all that, it will enrich you to the fact that you are always seeking common grounds. That's, I think that's like my mantra if you want to work with other culture, like always seek common ground so that you know that this experience will enrich you rather than actually put you in different opinion or segregate you. So that will be it. And I think for women leadership, as I mentioned before, I never knew that it was a thing of a global issue of women. Or, there's a woman issue on leadership. Never knew. But then one day, one of my friend in the program from Tanzania said that she has no right to buy a piece of land. So she has no right to buy a house for herself because it should be on man's name. And I would think that, oh, sounds quite familiar. It might be not in national level, but in some cultures, it still does. So those kind of common ground enrich me, and I carry it over the years, understanding that we are a unity and we are a united human race, rather than those are just culture is colors and also story, histories, and all that. But understanding that, again, to relate to our work in environment, we only have this planet basically, and we are working in ticking clock. So we need to collaborate.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes when we think of collaboration, we thought simply having different actors that would be sufficient, that all voices would be represented. But in reality, collaboration take so much more than that.
Yeah.
Collaboration take oftentimes radical listening, to really understand where the other person comes from for the decision. The work that we do with women on the ground in Aceh is quite unique in my perspective, because when we work in one village, we come to this village and then we provide them with paralegal training, environmental impact assessment training, and then the group of women who came on really strong and said, we want to protect the forest. And we're like, okay, let's work with you and let's do that together. And then when that work was successful, us, the conservationists, thinking, great, we just need to copy this all over Aceh, all over the Loiser ecosystem. We failed spectacularly because we failed to understand the cultural differences between one area and another. We thought we had a model, a pilot, a blueprint, but in reality, that cultural dynamic was vast. And it forced us to relearn and rebuild that collaboration to better understand what does the community needs. And it's quite humbling to realize that we don't have it all. We don't know it all. We need that diverse perspective that force us to, solve some of the world's most wicked problem.
Thank you. Well, we can have a round of applause to that final sentence. And thank you for all the questions from the social media, from Twitter, from Instagram. Unfortunately, we can address it all, but thank you for having us. And just again, for the Global Women Management workshop, just follow our Instagram account, GWM Indonesia. And to the points of collaboration of all the women leaders in GWM Indonesia are open for collaboration. So do DM us or just send a text. Thank you, Isa, for doing this. It's been a pleasure of being with you on the stage.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you. Farwiza, everyone. Just a token of appreciation, we appreciate you carrying the name of Indonesia in the international community. Please let us know if there's anything you need more support from the Women Leaders Network. Let us know. But we appreciate you as a friend. I do and has been supporting you and always appreciates you. And it's an honor for me to give that appreciation to you.
Speaking of common ground, I also love flowers.
Okay, thank you so much to Bu Tilma and Bu Wiza. Can we have another round of applause, everyone, for our speakers? Okay, so that was our first session of this event. And now we will be moving on to our second session. We have our speakers here. First she is the member of initiator of GWM Indonesia, Ibu Irawati Hermantio. And second, we have also a textile designer, Ibu Miriam Veronica. And lastly, we have the member of KPU Kota Gunung Sitoli, Ibu Happy Hareva. And now I would like to call upon the stage Ibu Erawati, Bu Miriam, and also Bu Happy.
Halo, selamat sore semua. Good afternoon. Ya, senang sekali kami berada di sini. Saya berada di sini bersama dengan para narasumber yang hebat dan tentu kami senang sekali berada di sini mendengarkan speaker kita yang terlebih dahulu, Ibu Carol, ya, dan dua speakers yang terakhir luar biasa sekali. We don't know what to talk more on this stage, ya. We don't know. Sudah banyak sekali already, ya. We learn a lot from you all, ya. Okay. Bapak Ibu, perkenalkan, kami memperkenalkan diri ya. Pertama, nama saya Happy Hareva, saya dari Kota Gunung Sitoli, Sumatera Utara ya. Is any here from Gunung Sitoli? Oh no, from Sumatera Utara you ya. Oke. Saya ikut ya alumni dari JUIM 53 ya. Ibu Carol, I am participant of the 53rd ya, JUIM 2010 in Jakarta, was held in Jakarta ya. And of course here's honestly ya, I want to mention to Ibu Carol that JUIM has a huge contribution to what I am now ya. Thank you. Pada saat itu saya adalah sebagai Direktur Yayasan Holy Anaa. Saya bekerja sebagai Direktur Yayasan Holy Anaa selama kurang lebih 10 tahun dan pada tahun 2018 akhir saya terpilih sebagai Komisioner KPU Kota Gunung Sitoli. Ya, kira-kira demikian perkenalan dari saya dan kita dengarkan perkenalan lebih lanjut mungkin dari Kak Ira dulu.
Terima kasih Kak Happy. Baik, selamat sore teman-teman semuanya. Saya Ira, perkenalkan saya Ira. Saya besar di sebuah NGO, LSM, Bina Swadaya. Kalau kurang familiar dengan Bina Swadaya, salah satu produknya itu majalah Trubus. Biasanya majalah Trubus lebih populer. Gitu. Bina Swadaya. Selama 25 tahun ya di Bina Swadaya. Belajar banyak tentang community empowerment. Katanya sekarang community enabler ya tadi ya. Oke. Belajar banyak di situ. Nah, betul sekali tadi Mbak Wiza sampaikan bahwa lebih pas kalau kita sebut enabler. Sebetulnya bukan enabler ya, tapi yang saya nikmati bekerja di pemberdayaan masyarakat adalah kita tumbuh bersama. Kita tumbuh bersama dengan masyarakat gitu ya. Kemudian setelah 25 tahun di sana pensiun ya sampai usia pensiun tanpa direncanakan gitu ya, saking nikmatnya di sana. Kemudian saya membantu sebuah perguruan tinggi swasta di lembaga pengabdian masyarakat mereka. Lalu terakhir, 2 tahun terakhir, saya diajak dan saya sangat bersyukur itu masuk atau membantu Satgas COVID. Satgas COVID di bidang perubahan perilaku. Jadi saya banyak sekali belajar di situ bagaimana mengkampanyekan ya perubahan perilaku masyarakat agar lebih patuh, disiplin, protokol kesehatan dan bagaimana tentang menghindari COVID dan sebagainya. Itu yang bisa kami sampaikan.
Terima kasih. Bisa tepuk tangan untuk Ibu Ira dan speaker kita yang terakhir.
Good afternoon, leaders. Perkenalkan nama saya Miriam. Saya memulai mungkin bisa dibilang interest saya, minat saya di bidang tekstil itu sejak kuliah, lalu kemudian saya ikut dalam beberapa riset yang mungkin melestarikan kain tradisional. Kemudian setelah riset berjalan, saya memutuskan untuk membuat yayasan saya sendiri bersama teman-teman, dan akhirnya saya mulai masuk ke dunia sustainable fashion. Di situ saya menemukan hal-hal baru yang ternyata sudah saatnya kita udah red alert ya untuk melakukan ini, dan sampai sekarang saya mulai melakukan beberapa hal-hal kecil yang bisa menjadi perubahan, dan saya juga senang sekali bisa ikut dalam program JWM dan bersentuhan dengan leaders-leaders lain, dan akhirnya saya sampai di sini gitu kira-kira.
Bisa ya tepuk tangan untuk Kak Miriam.
Makasih.
Baik, boleh dong saya bertanya untuk Kak Ira ya, Kak Ira. Tadi Kak Ira mengatakan karirnya ini di bidang pemberdayaan masyarakat. Ya, boleh ya menceritakan kepada kita apa yang menarik di situ? Kenapa Kak Ira tidak di bidang politik? Kenapa tidak di bidang desainer? Kenapa memilih di situ? Ya.
Baik, terima kasih Kak Happy. Ah, ternyata saya menyadarinya setelah di perjalanan saya di Bina Swadaya, bahwa saya tuh tertarik kepada kegiatan sosial pemberdayaan masyarakat itu diawalinya ketika saya ikut KKN, kuliah kerja nyata di IPB di Bogor ya. Jadi saya sangat menyayangkan gitu ya di perguruan tinggi sekarang kesempatan untuk KKN itu banyak sekali berkurang gitu. Padahal itu sangat penting bagi mahasiswa untuk bisa dekat dengan masyarakat gitu, bagi bisa mulai terpanggilnya tuh di situ gitu. Lalu ketika saya mulai bekerja, saya sebelumnya sebagai ikut-ikutan lah ya sebagai konsultan gitu ya di dalam perusahaan konsultan, lalu kemudian tiba-tiba aja ada jalannya gitu ya kok jadi saya ke Bina Swadaya gitu ya di Bina Swadaya. Jadi kayak klik aja gitu ya, merasa terpanggil gitu bekerja di kegiatan masyarakat, pemberdayaan masyarakat. Oke. Nah, pelajaran yang saya dapat terutama di situ ya, tadi saya udah sampaikan bahwa kita tumbuh bersama masyarakat. Jadi kita belajar bersama masyarakat. Tadi Mbak Wisa tadi jelaskan ya bahwa kita nggak bisa gitu ya merasa paling pinter gitu kan. Kita masuk ke dalam masyarakat lalu kita memberi ide segala macam. Justru kita harus belajar bersama mereka. Lalu bersama mereka lah kita meng-create gitu kan ya, apa yang bisa kita lakukan bersama-sama mereka. Itu. Kemudian yang saya pelajari juga ketika mulai nih sok-sokan tahu tentang bahwa kegiatan saya ini loh memperhatikan perempuan gitu ya. Tapi ketika itu yang saya perhatikan hanya jumlah gitu ya. Jumlah beneficiaries yang ada di dalam kegiatan gitu ya. Lalu di situ saya mendapatkan pelajaran bahwa bukan hanya itu gitu ya. Tapi bagaimana perempuan yang terlibat di dalam kegiatan kamu itu menyampaikan pendapat mereka gitu ya. Didengar pendapatnya gitu kan. Nah itu pelajaran yang paling penting. Nah, kemudian satu hal lagi yang saya dapat pelajaran yang baik adalah masyarakat itu mempunyai potensi masing-masing gitu kan ya. Mereka tidak nol, tidak zero. Justru kita yang bersama-sama mereka memobilisir, mengkoordinir dan sebagainya potensi-potensi yang ada di mereka itu yang menarik bagi kami. Itu Kak Happy. Kalau Mbak Miriam, Kak Miriam nih, wah tadi di itu ya kreatif ya, industri kreatif. Misinya apa kira-kira di situ tuh?
Misinya ya. Pertama kali gini loh Kak Ira, saya menyadari bahwa ketika saya masuk ke dunia perkainan, itu ternyata pelakunya itu 90% perempuan. Ya kan, ketika mengerjakan misalnya batik, itu ya mostly perempuan gitu. Nggak ada laki-laki yang nyanting gitu ya. Jadi itu semacam tabu gitu. Dan biasanya laki-laki hanya ngurusinnya pewarna. Jadi kayak tenun juga, itu juga mostly perempuan. Dan setiap perempuan tradisional itu mereka dibekali skill-skill yang memang sudah dari kecil ditanamkan untuk melakukan craftsmanship itu gitu. Jadi ketika saya udah mulai sadar, oh ini pelakunya perempuan semua ya. Nah di situ saya mulai melek gitu. Ya udah berarti kita harus punya, salah satunya adalah misi untuk pemeliharaan hidup perempuan. Itu jadi meningkatkan pemeliharaan hidup perempuan gitu. Jadi ya perempuan itu ditempatkan pada tempat yang lebih tinggi gitu, yang harusnya mereka mendapatkan hak itu gitu. Itu sih misi target utamanya gitu kira-kira. Kalau saya mau tanya sama Kak Happy nih, kalau Kak Happy kira-kira kenapa bisa tertarik di bidang bisa dikatakan politik ya gitu. Kira-kira gimana Kak? Boleh cerita sedikit Kak?
Iya, jadi sebenarnya kalau mau dibilang saya di bidang politik juga tidak terlalu betul saat ini ya, karena saya bukan di partai politik ya, tapi saya di bagian wasitnya ya. Kami melayani partai politik untuk berkompetisi mendapatkan suara masyarakat, kan KPU fungsinya seperti itu ya, melayani secara adil. Nah, kenapa saya tertarik di pekerjaan ini? Sebenarnya karena pekerjaan ini dekat dengan politik. Ya, intinya memang saya juga tertarik dengan politik. Saya tertantang dengan kenyataan di dunia politik kita, ya. Kita tahu bersama, coba deh dilihat ya di kabupaten kota masing-masing, di provinsi masing-masing, di nasional, di DPR kita, ya. Berapa perwakilan partai politik yang perempuan di dalam parlemen kita? Kenapa kita terlalu sedikit di sana? Hampir tidak ada. Maaf ya, bapak-bapak ya, para brothers ya, maaf. Tapi ya ini tentang perempuan ya. Kita afirmasinya 30% dan hampir tidak pernah kita penuhi. Keterpilihan tidak pernah sampai 30%. Tadi Ibu Carol juga menyebutkan ya, sedikit sekali women in leadership position. Kenapa ini? Kenapa takdir kita seperti ini? Oke lah, begini menurut pikiran saya, Kak Ira. Tadi Kak Ira bilang pengalamannya kan tidak berbicara, kenapa hanya berbicara mengenai jumlah, juga harusnya kualitas perempuan. Tetapi untuk saat ini saya berpikir jumlah dulu aja deh. Kualitas boleh menyusul, ya. Ya benar. Ya, kita itu sering dilemahkan, di situ kita udah takut sendiri nanti. Emang kamu bisa apa nanti dibanding para lelaki, ya? Kita udah ditakutkan dengan pernyataan-pernyataan itu. Dan akhirnya tadi ada orang penanya menyatakan bahwa akhirnya kita tidak berani mencoba. Sepertinya takdir kita memang tidak untuk leader, ya. Nah, itu tantangan itu yang membuat saya melihat dari dekat sebenarnya kenapa perempuan ini sedikit sekali di keterwakilan dalam bidang politik ini. Kalau misalnya di bidang-bidang lain saya kira cukup banyak, misalnya pendidikan, ya, kesehatan, banyak sekali perempuan itu, dokter-dokter, perawat dan sebagainya. Tetapi kenapa di bidang politik ini, ya? Nantilah cita-cita idealismenya dulu melayani, perempuan melayani lewat. Tetapi menjadi DPR, menjadi DPD itu hidup apa loh? Hidup apa nama? Hidup bahagia loh. Kenapa hidup bahagia itu hanya dimiliki oleh para lelaki? Hah? Kenapa? Kita juga berhak, kita di sana tidak ada 20%, tidak ada 30%, hanya 20%, maksimal 19%. Saat ini di parlemen di sana berapa? 21%. Kalau di kotaku misalnya di Gunung Stoli 25 kursi DPR, hanya 2 perempuan yang duduk di sana. Apakah ini karena kita tidak mampu? Apakah ini karena kesalahan negara, kesalahan partai politik? Itu yang menantang saya, Kak Ira. Kenapa saya mendekat di sini, ya?
Keren.
Iya.
Apa cerita yang paling berkesan nih, Kak Happy, selama menjadi anggota komisioner ya?
Iya. Sudah kurang lebih 5 tahun ya. Sudah kurang lebih 5 tahun. Nanti periode pertama saya ini sebenarnya berakhir juga di tahun ini, di bulan Oktober. Ya, tapi masih bisa nyalon lagi. Maksudnya masih bisa ikut seleksi lagi ya. Jadi saya melihat dari dekat. Pertama, jangan dulu masuk ke keterwakilan di parlemen. Kami ini kan KPU ini kan penyelenggara. Di penyelenggara sendiri juga ternyata tidak ada juga keterwakilan perempuan. Bagaimana pelayan tidak memiliki keterwakilan perempuan tapi cita-citanya supaya yang dilayani memiliki keterwakilan perempuan. Kita lihat ya, KPU pusat kita 7 komisioner dan yang terpilih perempuan hanya 1. Tadi para speakers kita yang pertama mengatakan bahwa ada menyatakan bahwa karena banyak di antara kita tidak mau mencoba, itu juga ada benarnya, ya ada benar. Tetapi kadang-kadang juga, ya kalau di level KPU RI itu bukan tidak ada perempuan mau mencoba, banyak sekali perempuan mau mencoba, qualified juga, tetapi ada juga kita tidak diberikan ruang, ya kita tidak diberikan peluang. Itu yang saya lihat dari dekat. Dan bawah juga kita banyak yang tidak berani mencoba tadi seperti yang itu juga benar. Konstruksi yang sudah lama mendarah daging di tubuh kita ini oleh budaya, oleh agama dan sebagainya itu membuat kita tidak berani mencoba. Keluarga kita tidak mendukung kita. Saya banyak mendapat curhatan dari pengurus-pengurus partai politik, minta tolong ke saya. Ya sekarang ya Bapak Ibu ya, saya kasih tahu dulu ya. Sekarang ini masanya pendaftaran caleg loh. Ya bagaimana nih kita yang hadir di sini? Bisa tergugah enggak dengan yang saya sampaikan ini? Ada enggak partai politik yang yang menjadi favoritnya? Partai politik sekarang mencari caleg perempuan karena undang-undang mewajibkan mereka mencalonkan 30% perempuan. Ya. Dan masa pencalonan itu dari tanggal 1 Mei sampai tanggal 14 Mei. Nah, dari awal-awal tanggal 1 Mei ini, Kak, sudah mulai banyak yang mengeluh. Tidak ada perempuan yang berani, yang mau maju. Ya, itu juga tantangan partai politik. Tidak ada perempuan. Mereka susah mencari memenuhi 30% ini. Ya, makanya saya katakan tadi, sebagian betul bahwa memang tidak ada juga keberanian dari perempuan dan sebagian juga betul bahwa kadang-kadang kita dibatasi, tidak diberikan ruang. Ya, mudah-mudahan nanti setelah ini ya, kita pemilu Februari ya, 14 Februari 2024, pemilihan legislatif, pemilihan presiden dan wakil presiden, DPD. Ayo perempuan ya, kita mendaftarkan diri di partai politik kesayangan kita. Ya mungkin saat ini tidak menang ya, kita tidak bisa duduk, tetapi setidaknya pembelajaran ya untuk periode berikutnya.
Artinya perempuan harus take action ya, Kak Happy ya?
Iya, kita harus berani ya, jangan terkekang oleh tuduhan-tuduhan bahwa kita tidak bisa.
Oke. Yang jadi pertanyaan saya berikutnya nih Kak Happy dan Kak Ira, sebenarnya tantangan apa sih yang terbesar yang kakak-kakak hadapi ketika ketika memulai sebuah program atau menjalani karirnya gitu? Tantangan terbesar apa ini Kak Ira dan Kak Happy ya?
Iya baik, saya menjawab singkat aja. Sepertinya sampai sekarang pun masih tetap ada yaitu ya, yang saya alami gitu ya. Kalau saya bersyukur dari pihak keluarga mendukung gitu ya, bahwa bekerja di pemberdayaan masyarakat dan sebagainya itu keluarga mendukung ya. Nah, yang menjadi tantangan biasanya justru di dalam lingkungan kerja. Nah, bersyukur juga sebetulnya kalau di Bina Swadaya itu tidak tidak membedakan pria wanita gitu, siapapun yang memang berpotensi dia akan mendapatkan kesempatan gitu ya, diperhatikan. Namun ya begitulah, biasanya tetap aja ada politicking kerja, dan itu tidak hanya dari pihak pria tetapi juga perempuan gitu. Nah, sekalian saya juga ingin menyampaikan ketika mengalami situasi yang sangat tidak menyenangkan gitu ya, tidak enak gitu ya di kantor, justru juga teman perempuan yang mengingatkan gitu ya, be strong gitu ya, tetaplah kamu kuat gitu ya, jangan kamu mundur pada saat kondisi seperti ini gitu ya, teruslah kamu berupaya, beraktivitas, berjuang gitu ya. Nanti ketika kamu sudah bagus ya, nah kamu bisa putuskanlah kalau kamu mau mundur atau kamu mau lanjut itu. Jadi itu yang bisa saya sampaikan.
Iya, thank you Kak Ira. Kalau Kak Happy sendiri gimana Kak? Kira-kira apa tantangan terbesarnya?
Iya, kalau tantangan terbesar saya pada awalnya punya kesempatan untuk menjadi leader, pemimpin itu, ya saya punya kekurangan dalam banyak hal, ya. Saya akui itu. Pada saat itu ya saya tidak percaya diri, aduh bagaimana ini, tidak pernah berpengalaman jadi leader, tidak pernah berpengalaman menjadi pemimpin, tiba-tiba menjadi pemimpin, ya.
Ya,
Bagaimana?
betul.
Nah, itu tantangan besar saya sebelumnya dan kemudian sangat terbantu dengan ada program-program yang bisa menjawab tantangan itu ya. Misalnya pada saat itu ya saya pertama sekali ditunjuk jadi direktur itu sekitar tahun 2009, Direktur Yayasan Pemberdayaan Masyarakat. Dan 2010 entah ini pekerjaan semesta atau apa, saya mendapatkan pelatihan leadership dari JUIM ya. Saya menang, saya mendaftar dan saya menang. Saya mendapatkan pelatihan leadership selama 1 bulan penuh di Jakarta dari JUIM. Dan jelas ya, tantangan yang tadinya saya alami itu terjawab ya. Saya menjadi lebih percaya diri sebagai leader karena memiliki pengetahuan yang cukup, kemudian memiliki keterampilan ya, bagaimana mendesain proyek ya, bagaimana membuat proposal, bagaimana manajemen konflik juga ya. Banyak hal disampaikan selama program itu dan itu tantangan-tantangan yang pernah saya alami sebagai pemimpin.
Oke. Kemudian Kak Ira ya?
Kalau dari Kak Meriam sendiri
Iya.
apa nih? Soalnya beda generasi nih.
Iya.
Miriam generasi apa? Z atau
Ya, millennials.
milenial?
Kalau saya sendiri, terus terang yang saya hadapi tantangan utamanya adalah self confidence. Dan itu ternyata ketika mengikuti pertama kali kelas JWIM di hari pertama, saya ingat banget itu adalah topik yang diangkat pada saat itu ya. Secara global perempuan itu memang diajarkan dari kecil untuk tidak percaya diri ternyata gitu ya. Jadi untuk membangun kepercayaan diri itu adalah PR terbesar. Dan saya juga menghadapi itu di lapangan. Semua perempuan yang saya advokasi itu mengalami itu gitu ya. Itu sih tantangan terbesar saya ya Kak Ira ya. Gitu. Gimana nih kalau
Ya, barangkali kita masih punya sedikit waktu.
Iya.
Ya, Kak Ira dan Kak Miriam ya, saya kan topik kita pada saat ini ya tentang collaborating for positive change. Jadi apakah Kak Ira dan Kak Miriam ini punya pengalaman soal kolaborasi? Bisa nggak di-share sedikit aja, waktu kita terbatas ya, kalau ada pengalaman.
Baik. Terima kasih nih pada ExxonMobil, Bu Carol dan teman-teman, Mas Dev dan teman-teman. Kami berkesempatan mengikuti JWIM ya, kita mendaftar lalu terpilih untuk mengikuti. Nah, ketika kita bergabung di JWIM itu ya, benar-benar ya sangat menarik ya materi-materi yang disampaikan dan merasa sangat beruntung bisa mengikuti itu. Lalu, aduh sayang ya. Kalau hanya kita yang menikmati itu, hanya yang memanfaatkan itu. Jadi, kami tahu bahwa sejak 2005 ya, JWIM Workshop, lalu kita trace peserta JWIM yang lalu-lalu, kemudian kita coba kontak-kontak, lalu kita coba membuat jaringan lah ya yang tidak terlalu formal ya. Nah kemudian kita juga ingin membuat lebih banyak perempuan yang menikmati ini dan kita dibantu juga mendapatkan kesempatan di Bojonegoro. Itu yang bisa kami sampaikan tentang kolaborasi.
Iya, tampaknya waktu kita sudah berakhir
Kita
dan
mungkin langsung ke sesi berikutnya.
iya, dan mungkin Maybe Bu Carol, yeah.
Is there
Would you
any
like
comment
to
for
make,
us
yeah?
or some advice for us?
Ya,
Ibu
Bu
Carol.
Carol bisa apa namanya menyampaikan tanggapan ya tentang kita punya JWIM Indonesia. Kemudian juga kita punya IWIM ya di Bojonegoro gitu, beberapa perempuan di sana.
Ya, terima kasih. In English, bahasa sedikit-sedikit. The idea of a network is fantastic. Mentap. Because we can learn from each other. We can share experiences. Sometimes we can give us strength when we feel that things are not going in the right direction. And sometimes that's all it takes, you know, a little boost from your friends saying, hey, I've been there before and look how successful I am now. So just that little boost in confidence is really helpful too. And what's really neat about the network here is you all share the same cultural backgrounds, so you know how things work and don't work here. And that's the beauty of having a local network. I think it's also good if you keep in touch with those who you may have met in different countries. I mean, we talked about Tanzania, because sometimes you get fresh ideas from people who are not local. Different ways maybe of approaching an issue. And diversity is a great thing. You know, when you hear diverse opinion, whether it's a local network or a more global network, suddenly you think about, well, maybe there's a different way of doing what I'm doing. And so I love the idea of having a network, and congratulations for putting that network together. Fantastic initiative.
Thank you. Tepuk
Thank
tangan.
you so much, Ibu Carol. Baiklah, saya akan mengajak teman-teman leaders di sini semua untuk masuk ke dalam sebuah
Kak,
sesi.
tanya jawab dulu barangkali.
Oh, okay.
Tanya jawab dulu kita.
Oh, oke.
Ya.
Ya. Sorry.
Bisa ya? Nanti sebelum kita masuk ke sesi yang satu
Okay.
itu, yang terakhir kita barangkali membuka lah ruang ya sedikit
Q&A,
ya. Ditambah waktu kita. Terima kasih untuk tanya jawab. Iya, kalau ada yang mau bertanya, kami berikan waktu.
Persilakan.
Tapi kita lihat dulu pertanyaan yang ada di Instagram ya. Ada pertanyaan dari Winona ya, dari Instagram. What is the Global Women in Management Program and how does it aim to support women in leadership position?
Mungkin Kak Ira ya, yang bisa.
Ya, saya coba sedikit Ibu ya. Barangkali tadi sudah sedikit banyak kami sampaikan. Jadi kalau menurut pengalaman kami, program JWIM ini adalah program ada beragam training ya, bisa training singkat, bisa juga training jangka panjang, dan itu yang kami alami sendiri adalah training full 1 bulan, dan di sana kita pertama sekali memahami benar apa itu gender ya, ketidaksetaraan gender, dan bagaimana tujuan untuk menuju langkah-langkah menuju kesetaraan gender, dan kita juga diberikan berbagai pelatihan keterampilan ya, keterampilan membuat proposal, keterampilan manajemen konflik seperti saya sebutkan tadi, manajemen project ya. Kita juga diajari mengenai apa itu bisnis ya, social entrepreneurship ya, itu bisa waktunya 1 minggu sendiri mempelajari mengenai social entrepreneurship. Itu juga sangat menarik sekali. Dan akhirnya kalau kita menjiwai ya program itu bisa membuat kita menjadi manusia yang baru ya. Tetapi sebanyak apapun juga program training, kalau kita tidak mencoba membuka hati ya tentu tidak akan mengubah kita. Itu bisa membuat kita menjadi manusia baru, membuat kita menjadi lebih confidence, dan membuat kita sadar bahwa ada konstruksi di luar kemampuan kita ya yang membentuk kita. Dan kita harus keluar dari itu. Ada konstruksi saya sampaikan tadi ya, konstruksi budaya. Konstruksi budaya di banyak etnis di Indonesia ini kan perempuan kelas 2. Konstruksi agama, bagaimana agama diinterpretasikan secara berbeda-beda, beragam ya. Ya, kadang itu ya perempuan selalu kelas di bawah laki-laki. Apalagi konstruksi sosial yang lainnya ya. Ada pelabelan-pelabelan stereotip. Ya, perempuan tidak bisa menjadi pemimpin. Itu bukan urusan Anda. Perempuan itu adalah di dapur yang ngurusin anak, yang memasaklah di situ. Nah, dengan training ini mudah-mudahan kita bisa keluar dari itu ya. Maka saya kira untuk kemudian ketika kita sudah berhasil keluar dari situ, maka kita bisa dikatakan sebagai leader ya, menjadi seorang leader yang baik. Tetapi selama kita masih terperangkap di dalam konstruksi itu, tidak bisa membebaskan diri dari konstruksi itu, maka barangkali kita masih belum berhasil ya menjadi seorang leader yang bebas ya. Ada yang mau ditambahkan, Kak? Atau kita nunggu pertanyaan dari peserta ya? Nanti dijawab Kak Ira barangkali kalau ada pertanyaan. Ada yang mau bertanya? Dari kakak yang di belakang dulu, ya.
Oke, selamat sore semua. Saya ingin bertanya, seperti yang kita ketahui, saat ini Indonesia sedang dihadapkan dengan potensi bonus demografi yang dimana akan terjadi urbanisasi masif dan akan mengarah pada bertambahnya peluang investasi dan dalam infrastruktur dan maupun sumber daya manusia. Berdasarkan perhitungan sederhana dan pengalaman ekstensif panelis sekalian, sebagai pemimpin perempuan, apa saja leadership skill utama yang perlu disiapkan oleh kami sebagai generasi muda perempuan Indonesia dan bagaimana skill set tersebut dapat berdampak untuk keberhasilan kolektif bangsa Indonesia? Terima kasih.
Kak Ira, bonus demografi Kak, demografi.
Baik, ya saya coba jawab ya. Oke, bonus demografi kan di situ berarti lebih banyak usia-usia yang yang produktif ya dibandingkan dengan usia yang lanjut maupun anak-anak. Nah, akan berhasil apabila generasi yang di tengah ini, generasi kita malah nyebutnya sandwich ya, sandwich generation ini, karena mereka dihimpit dari atas dan bawah, harus mempunyai ketahanan ya, mempunyai ketahanan. Oke, nah kalau kembali ke ketahanan artinya mempunyai kekuatan, kemampuan, sumber daya manusia yang baik dan Oke. Nah, satu hal lagi juga adanya peluang pekerjaan buat mereka, ya. Nah, saya pikir itu yang menjadi peluang ya. Kalau misalnya saya kaitkan dengan Global Women in Management, perempuan didorong kapasitasnya menjadi pemimpin, lalu mereka alangkah baiknya kalau perempuan-perempuan ini juga banyak bergerak di bidang entrepreneurship sehingga mereka bisa memberi peluang pekerjaan lebih banyak lagi bagi masyarakat yang ada. Saya pikir itu peluang kita di sana, ya, untuk berkontribusi yang banyak dan yang baik ya untuk Indonesia. Kira itu. Sekian banyak perempuan kalau kita sama-sama memperkuat diri kita untuk entrepreneurship, lalu tadi ya networking ya dan sebagainya, saling memperkuat di antara kita, itu akan menjadi potensi yang sangat baik. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Kak Ira untuk penjelasannya. Saat ini kita akan mengajak teman-teman semua women leaders untuk masuk ke solemn session. Kita tenangkan dulu hati kita. Kita ambil waktu sejenak untuk berdiam diri. Di balik kehangatan senyum dan kelemah lembutan seorang perempuan, tersembunyi sebuah kekuatan dalam setiap sentuhan yang kita mampu berikan sebuah dukungan, kenyamanan, dan pemulihan. Saya mengundang semua perempuan hebat di ruangan ini untuk saling menguatkan dan memberi dukungan melalui sentuhan yang menyatukan kita. Saudariku sekalian, mari kita merangkul bahu kanan perempuan hebat di sebelah kita dan merefleksikan diri melalui kata-kata yang akan mengafirmasikan kita semua.
Teman-teman,
tutup mata Anda.
Ya.
Tenangkan hati dan pikiran. Rasakan sentuhan itu. Tarik nafas perlahan. Hempaskan secara perlahan. Tarik nafas. Hempaskan perlahan. Tarik nafas. Hempaskan perlahan. Dan rasakan sentuhan dan dukungan dari saudari di sebelah Anda.
Teman-teman, mari kita saling mengafirmasi diri dengan menghayati dan menghayati sentuhan tersebut. Aku merasakanmu. Aku berdiri di sisimu. Aku selalu mendukungmu. Aku tahu kamu pasti merasa tidak sempurna. Aku tahu kamu pasti belum merasa cukup dengan dirimu sendiri. Aku tahu ada luka yang kamu sembunyikan di balik senyumanmu itu. Aku tahu ada banyak perkataan yang melukai dirimu. Dan aku bisa merasakan beratnya beban yang sedang kamu pikul. Teruntuk perempuan hebat yang kusentuh. Teruntuk perempuan hebat yang ada di dalam dirimu. Kamu cantik, kamu berharga, kamu dicintai, kamu sempurna dengan dirimu sendiri. Dan kamu tidak perlu menjadi orang lain.
Kamu mungkin tidak menyadari bahwa kamu lebih hebat dari apa yang kamu pikirkan. Rasa sakit tidak lebih besar dari ambisi, dedikasi, dan ketulusan hatimu. Di setiap kegagalan, penolakan, kekecewaan, dan pengkhianatan, kamu memilih untuk bangkit. Kamu bangkit karena kamu adalah seorang perempuan. Teruntuk perempuan yang menyentuh dan kusentuh, terima kasih atas perjuangan dan ketulusan hatimu. Kamu berharga. Kamu sempurna. Kamu bahagia. Rasakan kekuatan dari sentuhan itu. Dan katakan pada dirimu sendiri, aku perempuan, aku hebat, aku berharga, dan aku sempurna dengan segala kekuranganku. Mari mengulangi perkataan ini di dalam hati setiap kali kamu meragukan diri kamu sendiri. Saudari-saudariku, mari membuka mata. Tataplah perempuan di sebelah kanan dan kirimu. Yakinkan dia bahwa dia adalah seorang perempuan pemimpin.
Kami kembalikan kepada pemandu acara.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Can we have another round of applause for today's event? Okay, thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining us today. That was indeed a very insightful and important discussion that we had today on this event. And we would like to thank our speakers for sharing to us your knowledge and also motivation for us today. And of course, thank you to Juim for organizing this event. And hopefully, after this event, we can encourage more women to thrive and succeed in the workplace. And I also personally believe that achieving gender equality not only benefits women, but also men and also society as a whole. Now, earlier in this event, we had a trivia question, and the question was, is it true or false? Bringing more women into the workplace creates opportunities to prioritize diversity and encourage male and female collaboration. And the correct answer to that is true. This diversity allows decision-making in the workplace to become more multidimensional and thus more comprehensive. Shout out goes out to @Hamid Ali from Instagram for answering the question correctly. Okay, now for those of you who are interested in attending more of our events here in @America, don't forget to follow us on our social medias. We've got Instagram, Twitter, and also Facebook @ATAmerica. And we also have our own website as well. It's www.atamerica.or.id. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and see you soon at the next @America event. Thank you, everyone.